Where are we? Kentucky?
Yeah, we're in Kentucky.
We're in Kentucky.
We're in Frankfort County, Kentucky, and we are at the Buffalo Trace Distillery. It's a national historic landmark. We're gonna see if we can do a tour.
Okay. Yes. So what do we need to do?
All right, just right here. Tour number 4 leaves at 1:15. It is free. It's an hour long. 15-minute tasting will be at the end. It meets outside on that covered patio. This way to the left, the restrooms if you need those. On around is a green door, takes you right outside. So just be out there at 1:15. You may see other groups gathering, but you are on tour 4 at 1:15.
Tour 4.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Here's all the Buffalo Trace merch. We got a bunch of stuff.
Really? Okay. I do this so well.
So she said, what, 1:15 we gotta be?
Okay. Smell the candle. What does this smell like?
It's like vanilla and deliciousness. It smells like vanilla. $12.95. I'll pay $12.95 for a candle.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to tell her.
This is a simmering wax, so I guess you take a little piece and put it in your
Burn it in your wax burner.
Yeah. Leather. What is this? You smoke it?
It's a cigar.
It
I'm
is
assuming.
a cigar.
And it's dipped in Buffalo Trace.
You gonna buy one of these?
Probably. It's expensive though. It's $12.
Oh, look at that. Then you can like sip your drink.
Everybody's selling these things now. I see these dang things everywhere.
How's not recording? Oh, it is recording. I see it at the bottom.
Because it's got a horseshoe on it. You know, Kentucky is all about the Kentucky Derby. And you put your drink right there. And you put your cigar right there. Like
That's
so.
a nice gift.
It is a nice gift. $119. Good Lord. That's an even better gift right there. That's what I need to get. 130.
What time would that be over there?
115. I'm messing with you. It's like 103.
Oh, this is from the barrel.
Yeah, it's a stave. And these are little horses you get with Blantons. It's the top of the bottle. And each top has a different little letter on there. Ooh. Man, I don't even know. Ooh. What?
Here. We're have to come back and get some of this.
Oh, definitely.
The Taylor might not, or Taylor, the Eagle Rear might not be here after the tour. So
Yeah, we're gonna buy some right
you might
now.
want to take it if you
Yep.
want it, because
Oh,
it's one bottle per person.
okay.
Just wanted to warn you, sometimes you go on the tour and you
And
come
then you
back
come
and
back and
everybody's
it's
so
gone.
disappointed.
Right.
Well, thank you.
I'll hold yours for you.
Okay.
Let's see what else over there. You got buffalo.
Huh?
You got buffalo. Oh, you got gas freaking bitters.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, you make one great bartender.
McJulep.
Old-fashioned cocktail mixer. And for shots, that's like the standard. Barbecue sauce. It's awesome. So if we buy these, we go on the tour and come back and we buy some more?
I guess so. Is Benford happy now?
Mildly amused.
Okay.
My name is Floyd, and I'll be your tour guide. You are welcome to ask questions or take pictures anywhere along the road. Buffalo Trace is owned by Sazerac Corporation, family-owned corporation out of New Orleans. They bought the distillery in 1992. We've been a settlement here since 1787. Been distillery here since 1857. One of the oldest continuous distilleries in the United States. Continuous, 1920, 1933. What happened?
Prohibition.
No alcohol supposed to be made, is that right?
Except for medicinal
If
purposes.
we made alcohol, was it illegal?
Maybe.
Everybody think no?
If you were doing it for medicinal, you're good.
Yeah, right there, gentlemen. Florida shows out a big alcohol prohibition for medicinal purposes only. A lot of sick people. Don't have to take care of them. One pint every 10 days, up to 3 pints per month, as long as you had a doctor's prescription. Had to buy it through a drugstore because it's considered a medicine. And that's why drugstores still sell spirits today. It's just kind of been passed on down through the years. But we was lucky. Most distilleries prohibition was business. Original name of the distillery was Old Fired Copper. We go up on the hill, the warehouse right straight across the alleyway. Got OFC tattooed in the top of it. It's one of the oldest warehouses we got, built in 1885. The distillery's changed hands, probably 5 or 6 times down through the years. And known as Ancient Age, Age International, Shinman, George T. Stagg. 1999, Sazerac decided to want their own name for the distillery. Kentucky River lays in the backside of the distillery property. Olden time, big sandbar back where Buffalo used to cross the river. In 1999, Sazerac decided to call this place Buffalo Trace Distillery. That's how we got a name. We're going up here and show you a few of the buildings. Then we're going to take you down to the barrel house, and then we're going to warehouse, and then we're going to Blantons. And then what? By that time it'll be what? About 2:15. So it'll probably be not too early to start drinking then, is it? So we'll bring you back here and let you taste this stuff, see if there's any count. All right, let's go.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's get it.
Buffalo Trace Police.
You?
see old fire copper, original age. Got 23 warehouses, aged a little over 1 million barrels in the 23.
Wow.
About 4 years ago, they bought a farm on that big bluff up there. Started building warehouses up there about 2 years ago. We've got 6 done, started on the 7th one. But down here, we've got 17. All warehouses down here are brick except one. Into this warehouse here, there's a red metal building. Mr. Blant, the Blanton Bourbon is named after him, who was a master distiller here at the end of Prohibition, built that metal warehouse. So all of our Blanton Bourbon is aged at metal warehouse. Never buy a bottle of Blanton's, will have warehouse H on the label. That metal warehouse is warehouse H. Metal warehouse aged bourbon a little differently brick. They get a little hotter summertime, colder in the wintertime, change temperatures a little faster than the brick warehouse. You get a little flavor of that metal warehouse as opposed to the brick warehouse. The warehouse all the way down to the end with the 1 barrel. That's the 7th millionth barrel been filled here since Prohibition. Wow. It was done in April of 2018. It'll stay there until the 8th million filled, and then the 8th million take its place. That'll be a celebrity bottle. Aluminum looking pipes are steam pipes. So we heat the warehouse with steam in the wintertime. When bourbon goes below 45 degrees in the barrel, it goes dormant. We don't work in now that wood. In order to keep it working in the wintertime, we heat the warehouses. Keep them old 50 to 60 degrees. Every once in a while, we'll bump that temperature up a little bit, so we got to change it. We came in the top road, go out the top road, the big old limestone mansion sits up on top of the hill, known as Stony Point. Mr. Blant built that for his wife in 1934, now used as our corporate office, distributing sazerac. Old log cabin there, the old log cabin down in the bottoms, those are the clubhouses. Rented out for all type of social events, a lot of weddings in the summertime, a lot of corporate parties. All right, going down here. We make 18 different bourbons. We age anywhere from about 4 to 23 years. The 23-year-old being about be man weight. One of the older bourbons, one of the more expensive, one of the harder bourbons come about. Bottle of 23 sells for about $300 if you can find it. Come on around. We ain't gonna bite you. Got plenty of room over here. They're doing Blantons in both lines. Blantons are what they call a single barrel bourbon. Single barrel means when you get ready to bottle it, you take 1 barrel, you dump it and cut it to whatever proof you want. Blanton, 6 to 7 years old, 93 proof. It was the first single barrel bourbon done at a distillery. We did it in 1984. Now single barrel bourbons are a big thing with each distillery. But it's supposed to represent a horse race. It's all the same product. It's just different corks on top. In other words, he goes to the post, he breaks the quarter, the half, the 3/4. Here he comes down the stretch, gets after him with a whip, he crosses the finish line, and evidently wins because he got his fist up in the air. But also, in order to make 8 in the series, each horse has a letter behind it that spells Blanton. That's a B-L-A-N-T-O-N-S. That's how come you got 8 in the series. The red line you see right there, that's what makes your bourbon. That's how far it's penetrated. Every time it goes in out of that wood, it picks up color from the char, it picks up flavor from the rosins and the tannins and the white oak. More times it works in out of the wood, better color, better flavor, and that's how far it's penetrated in order to give you that color, that flavor. Yes.
Do you pick the topper based on the flavors?
Nope. Random. You're going to see that in a minute. When we go down the lines, you'll see there's a box there with all the corks in it. They just grab them at random. They may take 2 B's, 3 L's, whatever comes out of the box. When that box is empty, there'll be the same amount of each letter up the line, but they're at random. No, we don't pick certain. But we've heard a lot of people say, well, you do B's on certain days. No, they're all done every day, just at random. Other questions? All right, come on down here and we'll show you a few of the products we do. You can scoot around here anyway and see the trophy case here. Some of you short people get up front and tall people get in the back. Come on around. This is just a trophy case, some of the brands we do. Buffalo Trace, that's our signature brand bourbon. What they call a small batch. No definition how many barrels a small batch could be when you get ready to bottle it. You done 20 barrels, you done 40 barrels, you done 150 barrels together. Buffalo Trace, 8 to 9 years old, 150 barrels dumped together, cut to 90 proof.
Wow.
We do 18 bourbons. 2 of those, the secondary grain is wheat. W.L. Weller and Pappy Van Winkle are 2 wheated bourbons we do. Pappy is one of the oldest, one of the more expensive, one of the harder bourbons come about. Comes out once a year, usually the end of November, 1st of December. This year it came out the 1st of December. Most liquor stores here in Central Kentucky distribute it through a lottery system, which is probably the fairest way, and they don't gouge you.
All right.
5 bottles up here, what they call Antique Anniversary Series, kind of our Cadillac brand. We only do them once a year also. They come out about the same time as the Van Winkle. This year they come out the 3rd week in November. Thomas Handy's a 67-year-old rye whiskey, barrel proof, 128 this year. Sazerac's an 18-year-old rye whiskey, 90 proof. Eagle Rare is a 17-year-old rye bourbon, 101 proof. George T. Stagg, 15-year-old rye bourbon, barrel proof, 117 this year. William LaRue Weller, 12-year-old wheated bourbon, barrel proof, 127. Most of those are 16, 18 years old. We just didn't make enough, that's why they're hard to come by. We do some experimentals we'll talk to you a little bit about. They come out in little bottle like on the bottom shelf with a white label. Don't have any brand name. I'll tell you what the experiment was, and then you can sample it and see whether it's good or bad or different. Now what they do here, the barrels are rolled in. That corkscrew machine hanging from the ceiling takes the bung out of it. They turn it upside down, dump it in that V-shaped copper trough right underneath the corkscrew.
Oh, wow.
Take a little sample and bring it over here to, like that guy is there, and inject that into the computer. Tells them what proof it is coming out of the barrel. Today they're doing 93 in both lines. And then they calculate how much water they're going to add to the barrel. That's what they're doing those tanks in the back. Once they cut the bottling proof, they'll put them in tanks up above and they're ready to come down the line. They do about 2,400 bottles per line per shift.
Wow.
Shift jobs every couple hours. We're not doing the same job all day long. Right now we have been running double shift 5 days a week. This is the first Saturday we've worked for a while.
Wow.
Which is kind of neat, so y'all get to see it. Most of the time we have to have a live on Saturday, but you get to see how the thing happens.
That's cool.
Any questions? All right, we'll go down one line and up the other. Come on around. Come on around.
Select.
Don't be a jerk.
I'm just taking the bottle, not these guys. What proof is the one?
You suck at this. You can't hear anything he's saying down there. I guess I'll pause it.
I'm really surprised.
I know, it's like, so like every distillery that we've been to, like it's been small, and you would think like it's some grand, like, yeah. How are you? Good. Hello. Good. How are you?
Blantons for the world, huh?
Not too bad, Bob. Yeah. It'll be a lot worse.
Right? If it's like any other business where like if you work like bottling it, you'd be like, I want to see another bottle of alcohol.
That's a good question. Maybe they drink rum or something.
Maybe like,
Put that horse in that bag. If you don't, it'll run off. All right.
We make fine bourbon at a profit if we can, at a loss if we must, but always fine bourbon.
that's cool.
Kind of quiet.
You're quiet.
Like the barrels be talking or something.
This is our barrel house. This is where we receive our barrels to be filled. The process of making a barrel is known as cooperage. Some distilleries make their own. We don't. We buy ours from Independent State Company. They got two plants. They got one in Lebanon, Kentucky, and one in Lebanon, Missouri. Most of our barrels come out of the Missouri plant. A lot of white oak comes out of the Ozarks. We're buying about 500,000 barrels a year right now. But how they make them, they take white oak and they'll cut anywhere from about an inch to about a 5-inch wide stave. Once they get those staves cut, they'll stack them outside, let them season anywhere from 4 to 8 months. Once they've been seasoned, they bring them back in. They put them in a form that holds them secure in the bottom. Once they get them secure, they'll steam the wood. Whenever you steam wood, it makes it pliable. So once they get it pliable, they bend it into a concave shape like that. Now, why do they put it into a concave shape? Why don't we just make a straight-sided 55-gallon drum? Old timers are pretty sharp. When we go out the back door, we'll show you. All these tracks you see are barrel tracks. They're all around. Looks like train tracks. We move a lot of barrels by hand still. They're all set up on a gravity flow. So you put a barrel on those tracks and they roll by themselves wherever that track will take it. Back in the back, like I said, we'll walk back here in a minute. Looks like a train yard. From where we fill the barrels, which is just next door here, the big tanks, they'll fill the barrels, they put them on those tracks, and they'll roll by themselves to what warehouse we're designated to go to. Once they get to that warehouse, be 5 or 6 guys that take the barrels off, put them whatever floor, whatever rig they're designated to go to. So it's kind of neat. Old timers moved a lot of barrels by hand. We still move a lot of barrels by hand. But that's one of the things about the boat. If we made a straight-sided 55-gallon drum and put it in one of those barrel tracks with that straight side, it'll go about 5 feet and roll out in the yard. A barrel with this design set right on those tracks. Where the track goes, that barrel won't come out. Roll in there all day. And also when we fill these barrels, they hold 53 gallons. They weigh 550 pounds apiece. Takes a pretty good boat to move it. This gives you a pivot point so you can spin the barrel a whole lot easier if that whole side is touching the ground. So the design of the barrel don't have a lot to do with the aging process. It has a lot to do with the movement of the barrel. Charring is a little different story. Charring has a lot to do with the aging process. Kind of like when you burn sugar. When you burn sugar, it caramelizes. When they burn the inside of that barrel, it caramelizes these rosins and the tannins and the white oak. Gives them a sweeter, better taste. Charring bitters, there's a number 1 to a number 4 char. Number 1 char is just a fine burn, not very deep at all into the wood. The number 4 char is a deeper burn. Higher the number, deeper the burn in the wood. We use about a number 4 char, it's about a 55-second burn. Once they get the size of that barrel made, they'll take a blowtorch, usually fired by natural gas, and they'll burn it down through the inside of that barrel for about 55 seconds. They char the top, they char the bottom, they put the barrel together, and they can send it to us. Only thing on that barrel that's not white oak is the bung. Bung's the hole you fill it. There's one right sitting on top of that, right there. There you go. That's the only thing that is not white oak. That's made out of poplar. Poplar is a neutral wood and also a softer wood. So once they get that barrel full, they drive that bung in that hole with swells and seals and hope you won't have any leaks. So the barrel's white oak, the bungs are made out of poplar. Question?
Is this the largest, only size barrel y'all make here?
Yes and no. That's a bad answer, isn't it? 53 is the normal size of all the distilleries. Now, we do have some heavier barrels or bigger barrels They do research on. Harley Wheatley's our master distiller. Here in, I guess, 2006, he put some in 5 gallon, 10 gallon, 15. These are 53 and 135 gallons. He left it in there for 6 years to see if the size of the barrel had any effect on it. It did. He didn't like the little barrel, 5, 10, 15, 20. He thought it aged too quick, didn't have the flavor. 53, normal size, did good, and he had a barrel, there's one in the warehouse when we go up there, 135 gallon. It did good. Problem with 135 gallon is it weighs 1,275 pounds, so it's kind of tough to move around. So we don't use anything for our regular except the 53, but we do have some that does some experimental on it. So we got some other sizes also. Undergraduate. Oh, easy to get along with today. In order to be called a bourbon, the Bourbon Act of Congress passed in 1964. There's a few things you have to do to be called a bourbon and separate from a whiskey. First thing in order to be called a bourbon is your recipe has to be at least 51% corn. Ours runs about 75% corn, about 10 to 15% wheat if we're making a wheated bourbon, about 12 to 18% rye if we're making a rye bourbon, and about 10 to 12% malted barley on both recipes. Like I say, we make 18 different bourbons. You've seen 2 of the wheated bourbons, Weller and Pappy. Everything else, secondary grain, is rye. Difference between a rye bourbon and a wheat bourbon is kind of like rye bread and wheat bread. Rye bourbon, rye bread, a little bit light, a little bit of spicy taste to it. Whereas a wheat bourbon, wheat bread, a little more mellow tasting to it. Second thing in order to be called a bourbon, you cannot add any artificial flavor or coloring to it. If you add artificial flavor and color to it, it's a whiskey and not a bourbon. Third thing is your spirits have to be aged in a virgin charred white oak barrel. In order to be called a bourbon, you can only use that barrel one time. If you make whiskey, you have the option. You can use it once or you can reuse the barrel. Since we make mostly bourbon, what happens to our barrels after you use them the first time? Sazerac owns a distillery in Canada. Our barrels are sent to Canada. They age whiskey in the second time. Some of them goes overseas. They age sherry or brandy or scotch into them. Anytime you see a rum tequila with an amber color to it, more than likely it's been aged in old bourbon or whiskey barrel. Tabasco sauce is aged in old bourbon barrel. Some of the winery buy them, aged wine in them anywhere from 3 to 6 months. Here in the last 2 or 3 years, the brewery industry has been big. A lot of beer, a lot of ale being aged in old bourbon barrels. So a lot of use the old barrels. We don't just throw them to the back 40. And the fourth thing in order to be called a bourbon is your spirits can come off the still at no higher than 160 proof. You can put in that barrel no higher than 125 proof. We distill our bourbons twice. Second time comes off the still, comes off about 135, 140 proof. So we add water to it, cut it down to 125 proof, put in the barrel 125 proof known as White Dog. White Dog and moonshine kind of cousins. Moonshine, most of the time your ingredients was corn and sugar. Our White Dog is corn, barley, and rye, or corn, barley, and wheat. But they're both the first thing comes off the still. Neither one of them have been aged. And the fifth thing, which is kind of unique to Kentucky, a lot of people think Kentucky's the only place you can make bourbon. You can make bourbon anywhere in the United States. But there are 9 distilleries within 125 miles of here that do about 95% of the bourbon in the world. I don't know where the other 5% is made at, but don't buy it. It's not made in Kentucky. 2 reasons why most of it is made here. One is limestone water. Central Kentucky has abundance of limestone water. Limestone water is high in calcium. Calcium reacts good with yeast in order to give you a good fermentation process. And also change in temperature, change in season. If you don't like the weather today in Kentucky, wait till tomorrow, it'll be different. But that's what's neat. How you take that clear White Dog, put it in those barrels, and Mother Nature takes that clear and makes it that brown or amber color by just working in and outside the walls of those barrels. Kind of a neat process. And in question. All right. What happens here? Barrels are rolled in and come off the tractor trailer there you can see. They're stored in here. They go out the back. In the back corner, there's that elevator you see there. Takes the barrels over next door. Next door is the sister room. They'll go in there and they fill 6 barrels at a time. Once they've been filled, they put the bung on them, It goes through a machine that stamps the writing on it, which we'll show you when we get to the warehouse. From there, they put it on these barrel tracks, depending on what warehouse they're going. They roll to the whatever warehouse is designated by themselves. Once they get to the warehouse, be 5 or 6 guys. They'll take the barrels off, put them on elevator, put them whatever floor, whatever rigs are designated to go to. So we still move a lot of barrels you see here in a minute on the barrel tracks. Old timers move a lot. We still move a lot by hand. Question. But this is where we receive all our barrels. All right, let's go out the back door then.
I think you're getting a good sense of, yeah, I think that looks how massive this place is. I think you did a good job. I trust you. Sometimes with stuff. Ain't that crazy? They make it for the whole world.
Now I know the difference between
Whiskey and bourbon.
yeah, because bartender, I kind of like struggle with that a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. They're like, they don't.
They just laugh. She don't know what a whiskey and a bourbon is. I'm sure that's fascinating. Is that a track right there too? That is a track.
Yeah.
Y apenas me quería hacer un zombie.
What we show you here. See all these tracks, like I say, it looks like a train yard back here. They're all set up on a gravity flow. So you put a barrel and they roll by themselves. You see this and that. They don't roll fast. But now all the tracks there you see on the ground over there, we bring barrels back. That's what they call regauge right there. Where we dump barrels for our, what they call lodge back, maybe 200 barrels we dump together to make a product. So they'll put them on at the warehouse and they roll by themselves there, all the way back to here. Then we'll dump them and we put them in tanks and then they'll dilute it down to whatever proof they're bottling. They take it over to our automated lines. Our automated lines are over there right behind the BP station. We got 4 automated lines over there. You've seen the hand bottling. But then cheaper brands, bourbons that are 4 or 5 years old, some of the half pints, and that we bottle over there through the automated line. That's kind of a neat process. All of our better stuff we do by hand, like you've seen up there in Blantons. Kind of neat. Question. All you can get along with, y'all just come to drink, don't you?
Yep.
No question. All right, well, I just wanted to show you how that looks when we move barrels. It was kind of neat. Old timers did it. We still move a lot of barrels by hand. All right, we're going to warehouse. Let you see where this stuff is made.
Y'all ever had a warehouse collapse?
No, not good. Well, I say no and yes. Sazerac owns 1792 also in Bardstown. So they did have one collapse, I don't know, back in the early fall. We're about 19,000 barrels in it. But here we haven't. But the company has because they owned that down. It's, I guess it's made a little more awareness. We used to, you take like here, 24,000 barrels, 500 pounds apiece. That's a hell of a lot of weight above us. So they used to check them every year. But since that, we do it quarterly to make sure, and they say the same thing down there. So it's bad to say, but you have to have a accident before you realize what's doing a little more changes, and it's bad to say, but that's usually what happens. So we do check them more often now. Other question. All right, come on around the corner. We'll show you a little bit. Now watch your head down the middle, and down here it ducks a little bit.
One question.
All right.
Do you put different products in different areas of the rick house? Or do you
Yes.
mix it all?
Different places, different warehouse age bourbon differently. So since they've been doing it so long, they kind of know what areas a certain brand will age in. So yes, when we put it in, we got some idea what it's gonna be, but that's not cut in stone. When, say a Eagle Rare is a 10-year-old bourbon, 9.5, 9 3/4 years, we'll sample the barrels that's gonna be dumped for that batch. Maybe there's 60 barrels. Maybe 3 or 4 of those barrels don't taste like Eagle Rare should. So they can put those barrels back, come back next year as a 10.5, 10 3/4 years, they sample them. They taste like they should have a year before. So we bottle them as a 10-year-old, but they're really 11-year-old. When you buy a bottle of bourbon that says 10-year-old bourbon on it, that don't mean you can't have 11 or 12-year-old bourbon in it. It means you can't have anything younger than that.
10.
So if it fit the profile next year, then we bottle it as a 10-year-old, but it's really 11. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Watch your head here.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let me watch my head too.
Yeah, definitely watch your head. I gotta get to your level. Repeat it.
Back to what you asked you about that taste profile dominates over age. Taste profile dominates on anything you buy. You go to McDonald's, you buy a Big Mac. You expect it to taste like a Big Mac. You don't expect it to taste like a White Castle. It's got a taste profile. Bourbon ain't no different. Every brand, whether it be ours or whatever distillery, has got a certain taste profile. That's why you buy that, because you like it. Coca-Cola, Mountain Dew, that's the same thing. It's got a taste profile. So bourbon is the same thing. So when we sample those barrels, it has to meet that brand of taste profile. We make 18 different brands. So if it don't fit one brand, we can put it into another brand also, or we can put it back and let it age a little longer. So even though you think it's going to be a brand, you can play with it a little bit. It's not cut in stone. Make sense?
Would you ever sell it to another distillery?
No, we don't sell it to others. No,
Oh, yeah?
no, we don't. We don't. Everything we make, we bottle ourselves. Sazerac makes about 600 different brands of alcohol. Now they may put it under another brand, but they don't sell it to another distillery.
So
Some of, oh, go on.
This whole sticker, it says experimental on it. What does that mean?
That means if we told you, we'd have to kill you. You want to sacrifice him? You want to get rid of him? There's the easy way. Yeah. See how much you like him.
For a barrel?
Yeah. Harlan and Wheatley, like I said, you remember the big barrels, and that's what we talked about, the big barrels down there and the where they come in. You see there's some of them there. Experimental. He does a bunch of experiments. He got probably 15,000 barrels scattered through all the warehouses. He does all kind of stuff. He may change percent corn, rye, malted barley. He may put 4 or 5 grains together. What he's trying to do is find a new product you all will like, or a better way of doing something in the bourbon industry. He don't know how long he's going to age it. He samples it ever so often. Maybe after 8 or 10 years, it's a good product. So maybe a new brand that he comes up with. If not, you remember the little white bottle in the bottom of the trophy case over there? It says experimental. They'll come out. Usually there's a press release on Buffalo Trace's website when they're coming out. A lot of times bourbon or whiskey magazines will have an article that Buffalo Trace has done such and such experiment, and that's what those are. And like I say, that big barrel you seen with right around the corner there, that's what we was talking about, putting them in different sized barrels. So he does all kinds of stuff like that. That's what those are. Other question. All right, a little bit about the writing. Top line tells you name of distillery, Buffalo Trace. Then the top bottom line is a mash bill. If you see a mash 1 or mash 2, that's a rye bourbon. Some of those over there says W.L. Weller, that's a wheated bourbon. Then it's got a DSP, Distilled Spirits Plant Number. Every distillery has their own number. Ours is 113. So if you ever see any barrel boxes, bottles with DSP 113 on them, it means that they was filled here at this location. And then the bottom line date was filled. That barrel was filled January 18th, 2013. There's May 23rd, 2014. I think there's November.
It's experimental.
November 21st of 2012. But if you look through the warehouse, you find barrels of all different ages. That's gonna be a 10-year-old bourbon. You can come back every day for 10 years. That barrel's not gonna do anything. It's set right there. One thing that's happening is when it gets warm, that white dog moves in the side of that wall of that barrel. When it cools off, it goes back in the middle. Hot, cold, changing that clear to that brown or amber color and giving it flavor. That's what's neat. Questions?
Yeah, so if you put the barrels on the ground, would it change the flavor other than raising it up off the ground like it is now?
Probably. That's why there's about 3 feet, maybe 4 feet and below. You need to have that air circulation in it. And, you know, warehouse, better bourbons come from bottom middle floors warehouse. Bourbons that are not aged very long come off the top floors. Couple reasons. One is it gets hotter up there. So evaporation, angel share. The first year you put bourbon in a barrel, you lose about 7 to 8% of the quantity you put in that barrel because it soaks into the wood the first year and evaporation. Every year after that first year, you lose 2 to 4% due to evaporation or angel share, they call it. A couple examples. One of our Cadillac brands of bourbon we do is called George T. Stagg. It's what they call a barrel-proof bourbon. Barrel-proof means whenever it comes out of the barrel, that's what it's bottled at, no water added to it. A year before last, George T. Stagg, 15-year-old rye bourbon, come out of the barrel at 144 proof. That's what you're going to buy it at. But that shows you, it went into the 125 proof. But after 15 years, it's moved up to 144 proof. Due to the fact the water leaves, the alcohol content gets higher. So the longer the product's in that barrel, the higher proof it's going to be. But also, the longer it's in there, the less product you have. Every year, like I say, 2 to 4% you lost. So the proof goes up, amount of product goes down. Like a 23-year-old pappy. We put 53 gallons in that barrel. When we take him out, we only got 10 or 12 gallons left. The rest of it is gone. So that's why you wouldn't want to put a pappy on the top floor because it gets hotter. So you may open that 23 up there on the top floor and it may be gone.
Wow.
So that's why your better bourbons come from bottom middle floor. Cheaper bourbons and bourbons not aged very long comes off the top floor. A warehouse is just the opposite of a liquor store. Where's your best bourbons on a liquor store? Top shelf and they get cheaper. Yeah. Warehouse gets the opposite. Better bourbons, cheaper.
Yeah, under the counter.
Yeah. You got to ask for them. Yes, if you got something, you better ask anymore because it's not on the shelf a lot of times. And sometimes when you ask for it, you're afraid to ask for it because the price they ask you for is crazy.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Yes. Yeah, secondary market in some of the liquor stores is nuts.
Yeah.
Other question? All right.
How much money you think would go into one barrel? Like how much would the Buffalo Trace put into one barrel?
What's it cost us?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. Different brands, have different because when they go in, I guess the liquid, the white dog, when it first goes in, pretty much the same. You don't have much because you got about the same amount of corn, rye, and malted barley. Same thing with wheat. Wheat's a little higher than rye, but I don't know exactly what the cost per barrel would be when you put it in. They figure about, the average now of the barrels will be around $6,000 of the barrels that we got aged and everything, which is a million barrels. That's pretty good on the change.
Yeah, that is.
Yes. Other question? All right, y'all ready to go drink?
Yes.
Absolutely.
We're gonna meet right outside, and then we're gonna take you over to the gift shop and let you taste the stuff. Meet right outside, just watch your head down the middle if you're tall, so it's sprinkler system. We'll meet you right outside, just so we would come in.
This is the most alcohol education I've had on a tour.
A lot of places they buy their other stuff. They buy their grain products, and other places they buy their barrel stuff. do that. You can white label liquor and like creative design and label. Bam. I wonder if there's gonna be some more in there. Sample. We had an amazing time in here, and Stephanie learned something today.
Learned a lot.
I didn't learn nothing. No, I learned a lot too.
You were like a guy in a movie theater that was like talking at the screen. That was you.
Oh, that was me?
Yeah.
What I do? I'm talking to the movie screen. My bad. I have questions. I'm gonna put it in my. Baby was quiet. Man, we had a baby with her. She was all quiet. Good kid. You can try everything.
TMI. Maybe you should ask him. Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Yeah, I mean, it'll just take too much.
You learned too much?
Well, I mean, he can just
Look,
go up the
there's the barrels
stairs.
rolling.
Do it. I mean, he can just come up.
There's restrooms. Oh, you gonna get your liquor first?
Yeah. She's a bourbon drinker.
This is a little different. Most of your vodkas are still 3 or 4 times. Most of them made out of rye or wheat or potatoes, anything will ferment. He takes corn, distills it 7 times, makes a vodka. Takes a wheat and mix it, distills it 7 times, makes a vodka. That's not enough. They put those together and distills it 3 more times. So it's still 10 times, that's 82 proof. He thinks it's pretty good, evidently he named him after himself, and he's even brave enough to put his picture on the side, so it better be good. First row, weekly vodka. Grab one. When you get done with the dirties, just stick them into either table on the end. If you don't have one, why, yeah, we'll get you one. If you're shy, you're dry, so don't back up.
I like it. You're shy.
First row, weekly vodka. There's water right there if you like some water in between. Thank you. We got a bunch of vodkas up here. Somebody hadn't taken theirs.
Hot.
Ever got a weekly vodka?
I drank it. It was good.
Anybody like it?
Yes.
I'm not a vodka drinker, but I have tasted it. It's pretty smooth because your 10 distillations in both your grains are pretty mild. Your corn and wheat, but it's pretty good.
I like this.
All right, bourbon.
I'm wearing my chest up right here.
Buffalo Trace and Eagle Rare are the same mash bill. Mash bill 1. Same amount of corn, rye, malted barley. The big difference is this is 8 to 9 years old, small batch, 150 barrels dumped together, cut to 90 proof. Most of these barrels come from Everplace in the warehouse. This is a 10-year-old small batch, maybe 10 or 12 barrels dumped together, cut to 90 proof. Most of these barrels come from bottom middle floors in the warehouse. So the same recipe, same proof, big difference, 8-year-old, 10-year-old, where they're aged at the warehouse. First row, Buffalo Trace. Put it in your left hand.
I
Back
get
row,
it.
Eagle Rare. Put it in your right hand. Pretty simple. Front row left hand, back row right hand.
I'm going to have to use my hands.
See?
Front row left, back
Which one is
row right.
which?
Left.
This
Left
is-
goes in your left. Right goes in your right.
Okay.
Front row left, back row right. Everybody left and back row here.
Yep.
I'll take one back from my right and take one from my
Everybody got a left and a right?
Yes.
Front row Buffalo, back row Eagle. Same recipe, same proof, big difference. 8-year-old, 10-year-old, worth age, sat in the warehouse.
Front row.
front row left, back row right. Okay. Cheers.
I like this one.
That's real sweet.
Ooh.
Probably a higher proof. Both 90.
Both 90 proof. Same recipe, corn rye multiplier, both the same proof, big difference. 8-year-old,
Oops,
10-year-old.
They don't get a higher proof that extra 2 years.
They cut it.
Well, yes, when it came out of the barrel, but we cut it down.
Okay.
We had
I'm like,
water
where's
to
water
cut
come
down.
from?
Is there any difference between your left and your right hand? Huh? Are they the same taste? That kind of shows you. People say, how do you get different flavors in bourbon? To me, that's a prime example. They're the same recipe, corn rye malted barley. Same proof, 90 proof. The big difference, 8-year-old, 10-year-old, and where they're aged at in the warehouse. So even though I start out with the same stuff, I can tweak it a little bit at the end and give you different flavor. How many like the right hand the best, Eagle Rare? How many like Buffalo Trace the best? Both of them, yeah.
Yeah.
The left hand was
We
hot.
usually get about a 60-40, about 60 Eagle Rare, about 40 Buffalo Trace. But people say, what's the best bourbon? And not to be smart. The best bourbon is one you like the best. Different people have different tastes. So the best bourbon is one you like the best. What's neat? How you start out with the same product and you can finish up with a different flavor.
The best word is pappy 23, period. There's no contest.
What's that? Different place, different warehouse.
The left one was real hot. It was like,
Buffalo Trace is all over.
put hair on my
To
chest.
make that taste robust. Eagle Rare comes from bottom milk.
I like the right one. It was.
All right,
a little
bourbon
bit smoother.
cream. Bourbon cream is made with Buffalo Trace bourbon and real cream. It's 30 proof, 15% alcohol. Only bad thing about it is once you open it, you got to refrigerate because it's real cream. If you like root beer, drink down about half what's in that glass. 2 bottles of root beer up here. Double that with root beer. Makes kind of like an adult root beer float. If you don't like root beer, well, don't worry about it. And also, bourbon bottles are made by Rebecca Root, local candy company, made with our Buffalo Trace bourbon and our recipe. You're welcome to try those also.
Candies.
Taste it first. Drink down about half what's in the glass. Yes, double that with root beer. Make it kind of like an adult root beer float. If you don't like root beer, don't worry about it. But if you like root beer,
Let's see
make a
it.
pretty good drink.
Okay. Mmm.
Everybody
Yes.
get green?
Thank you. I want some root
Anybody
beer in
like
it.
the green?
Yes.
Did you like with root beer? If you like with root beer, take vanilla ice cream, put it in a blender, it makes like a smoothie. A lot of people drinking coffee. It's pretty good in hot chocolate. Not too many ways you can screw it up.
You gonna do some
It's only
root beer,
15%
Max?
alcohol, so you're not going to get sour by drinking it.
I'm taking
Well,
yours.
that's kind of what we got.
right.
We thank you for coming. Come back anytime. We're open 7 days, so anytime you're in the neck of the woods, drop in and see us. Be glad to have you. Thank you all. Come back.
Thank you.
Yeah, make a good kind of adult root beer float. Pretty good stuff.
Oh my
Wouldn't think it'd be
gosh.
that good, but it is
Root beer
good.
cream
Yeah.
thing is amazing.
I think we finished off the right way.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome anytime. Uh-huh. Thank you. You want to think about once you open the cream, you got to refrigerate it. Same day lunch, so that's how long you tomorrow.
Once?
Because it's
Man.
real cream.
I need that in my life. Oh, so good.
It was.
I would love to come back here.
Do like a private barrel. One of my dreams is to have my own private barrel. Like something that I selected. Have it poured or something. It's small. I know it's small.
Is it?
No, it's kind of a big deal. I want one of them hats they have.
That was all the way worth stopping. That vodka is nice.
It's okay.
I loved it. What's that cream?
Damn, 1.75 is only $30.
Ow. That'll last me like the rest of my life. Oh, look, it's coffee.
Bourbon infused coffee. These are only 18? I think we get an 18 now.
I want the cream now. I'd rather have the cream in the root beer.
Okay, get a little cream.
Not the small one?
I think they're the same size.
They are. That's $55.
Just like
So which one did we get?
it's not here. They ran out.
She did say that.
Yeah.
She said, you better get it now.
Anytime you come in here, Blantons, Eagle Rare, EL, Taylor, E.T. Lee, whatever. All that stuff here.
That looks like a Frankfort hat.
Does it?
Yes.
Dark side.
Fit?
It's perfect. Oh, I learned stuff.
No, sorry.
I've been educated today. Oh, goodness.
I like that. Can you grab one of them shirts?
What? This one?
Yeah.
You want an extra large?
XL. Yeah, I'm an XL.
Because of your big belly? That's okay. I like it. I love you as you are, Benford.
Just more of me to love.